Big shout to okjersey.com. Scan the QR code below and actually go to the link below to get affordable football shirts from all the European leagues, including the English clubs, all of them, Liverpool, Arsenal, United, City, Spurs, Chelsea, all of them, of course, are all there. You can get the current ones, past seasons, and also some absolute gems out there, vintage ones, and actually very affordable football shirts, high quality, like the one I'm wearing right here. It is very simple to get one. Let me show you how. You go to the website. It's very simple. You click on the Premier League, pick the club you want. For me, I pick Newcastle, for example. You go there, you will find all the current ones, training ones as well. You add whatever you want to the cart. Of course, check the sizes, add a patch, add to cart, but also never forget, as it says below, scan the QR code and put the code JUDGE in the checkout to get 8% discount. It's that easy. Just go to the website, check the football shirt you want. You will not regret it. Now, let's get back to our stream. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, people, and welcome to Footy Judge Mo. Listen, make sure to check out OK Jersey, affordable football shirts. Don't forget to use the code JUDGE. I am soon actually releasing a video to actually show you which team I actually support in the Premier League, which shirts did I buy. That'd actually be the surprise, the new thing that I'm going to do actually soon, once I actually receive the shirts. But big up everybody that is here. Hit that like button. This is going to be a different show. I don't know if it's going to be rational or not rational or something. But we got new people here that we haven't seen before on the channel, guys. So hit that like. So it's the Frenemies podcast, of course, with Mark and Neil. You can see Mark is a Chelsea fan right there on the bottom left, and Neil is an Arsenal fan. If you guys haven't watched them, go and support them. Their channel is in the description, and they are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So go and support them. They're absolutely great content creators. They're new to the scene. They're trying. So go and support them, guys. And we're going to put the link of their channel in the chat as well, but it is in the description. We got Rack. He's back. Of course, he's here with us. We got Sal, Man United all the way. And Luke, Spurs. Spurs are on the picture now. Unhappy Spurs fan, even though they are in the top 5 race. After finishing 17th, it's absolutely phenomenal by Spurs. Everyone in football fans now are entitled. Everyone. I feel like everyone is entitled. Man United fans are not happy. Unbeaten 5 games, and I've seen Man United fans complain. I've seen Spurs fans complain, even though they are equal in points with Liverpool. Like, this is actually crazy for me. Thomas Frank is having them 5th, but and plus 9 goals actually, only behind Man City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Yeah, Spurs fans complain.
Yeah.
Well, you are complaining, but big up everyone. How is everyone doing, guys? Let's get the likes up. Is that like we're just starting? So let's get to 100 likes. How is everyone doing, guys?
Good,
Doing
man.
well, my friend.
Really
All
good.
good.
Mate.
Looking forward to this.
Yeah.
All good.
Sal, why are you upset, Sal? You're also an entitled Man United fan as well. You're seventh. You're ahead of Liverpool in the table. You're good.
I've been actually quite positive. What? I've been actually
why
quite
are you
positive.
upset? Just smile,
I'm
bro.
talking
You're
about title
like
charge next season.
What? Title charge.
Goodness me! Don't get me too excited, Mo. You know I can't contain myself.
I actually think that you're 2 points behind the mighty Chelsea, world champions, best team in the world.
World champions of friendlies, yeah.
Konami Cup, says, bro.
You're only saying that because your team wasn't in it, my friend. That's all it is.
You
your
guys
team
are
was in
world
it.
champions until it comes to like, are you gonna win the league or a challenge? That's what you are.
There you go.
We're talking about this. We're talking about this in the football terrace. I'm like, we're world champions. Are you gonna challenge then? Well, we're not consistent. Anyway, world champion.
What it is. Yeah,
it's absolutely what it is. But let's start by actually the top 5. Can I ask you guys this simple question for everyone here? If you have to bet, I don't know, some of us don't bet. I don't bet. But if you have to pick a team, you're like gun to your head, you're naked on the line. Which teams do you think are gonna make top 5?
Man City,
Arsenal.
There you go. In that order. Chelsea.
Definitely. I think
Liverpool have to be in there.
Based on what, Geezer?
Because
I just think
some of their players. Yeah, some of their players, if they hit a bit of form, they're gonna be tough.
If that's the key question.
It's a bit of form. Yeah, but everyone who could say that for anyone go off the boil. But I think they've got too many decent players and too many good players to be. And then also, it's not just about how good they are; it's about how good everyone else is, right?
Correct.
Everyone else has the capabilities of carrying on playing the way that they're playing and picking up the points.
So you're putting Liverpool in the top 5, is that right?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, they're in the hunt. They're in the hunt, aren't they?
Right now.
I mean, they've got a lot going for them in the sense of top 5. But who are the teams in the running? You know, Villa, Newcastle, Liverpool. Who have Liverpool got to be better than? Who have Spurs got to be better than? They've got. Well,
if Liverpool get a point, they're 4th, and they've been pretty poor for a sustained period.
And if you get 3 points, you are 3rd.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they're dead certs. Them 3 are absolutely wrapped up in my eyes.
I'll tell you what, though, they have got some holes. Mark and I debate about this a lot, but they have got some holes front to back. Goalkeeper's always injured. Their back line is full of holes. Liverpool, yeah. Their midfield is a little bit...
but they got a backup goalkeeper that arguably is better than Chelsea's first goalkeeper. That's what people say.
That's not hard, Mo.
You're better than Chelsea's first goalkeeper, mate.
By the way, I disagree with this, but that's what people say. I actually think Sanchez is good. Let's just put this out there.
When you say good, how good is good? Are you saying a top 5 goalkeeper? Top?
So in the league, as an overall package, I think David Raya is better than him. Alisson is better than him. And then I struggle.
Really?
And then I struggle to see someone better than him. You say Vicario? I think Vicario is a good shot stopper, but I think Vicario has some mistakes in him that are very simple. Like I think that Brighton game, that goal that the guy scores from the left side, that's kind of weird from Vicario to do. I think Vicario is not commanding in his box at all.
No, I'd agree.
So I think there's a lot of bad things you can say about Vicario. About Sanchez, if everyone talk about Sanchez, can I finish that point track, please?
Go.
Yes, just one. If people tell me, bro, what do you think bad about Sanchez? I struggle to say anything other than mistakes or errors that sometimes lead to goals. But here's the problem. People can't find these errors over the last 6 months. From March until this moment, Sanchez had not made errors that lead to goals. Even the Man United one, he gone out. Everyone go out to collect the ball. It's a bad decision. He hit the ball, struck him. It might not have been a red card. It might have been a free kick, right? And we're not sitting here saying that he made a mistake. it would be a free kick outside the box, a yellow card, move on. Man United might not have scored. The game might have been different. Other than this, no one talks about Sanchez shot-stopping ability, because sometimes he saves Chelsea points actually in games. Sometimes you'd look at the Club World Cup. He literally saved abundance of chances, the Club World Cup, that people started like, whoa, this is a very good goalkeeper. In the league, in the run-in last season at the end, Sanchez saved Chelsea so many points and so many times that Chelsea ended with 7 clean sheets out of 9 games in the league at the end. And people keep talking about Sanchez as he's still the same bozo. I believe this is something that happens in our mind when we support football, when we watch football. As people still talk about Gabriel, the Arsenal centre-back, as a bozo gene. Bro, the last time we saw bozo gene was 2 years ago. He's past that already. He's now much better. So I believe that Sanchez is not as bad as people think at all. At all, by the way.
The thing is, you're right. Sanchez has been tarred with that brush of being calamitous, but that's because he has had a number of calamity moments, right? His form over the last 6 months or so has definitely been better. He was the first 6 months of last season. I mean, yeah, it was awful, and literally every Chelsea fan wanted him not even out of the first team, wanted him out of the club. But he has improved. He's had less bozo moments, as you say. Whether he's an elite goalkeeper and is going to be enough to take any club, whether it be Chelsea or somebody else, to a title charge, that's the question. But
that is the main question, Giza.
Yeah,
Chelsea's goal is to try and win the league. Is he a goalkeeper to do that?
No,
I don't think so. He's marginally
Absolutely.
improved, in my opinion, over the last 6 months. And I actually believe that's a smokescreen, right? Because he's going to mess up. And then that little one thing is going to affect his mentality. And then we're going to see it on a regular basis. For me, as a Chelsea fan, I don't want him at the club because he makes too many mistakes. Okay, last 6 months have been okay, right? But the main question that you ask is he the main person, the main goalkeeper to take Chelsea to the title? Because to win the title, you do need a quality goalkeeper. This is fact.
You ain't got one. That's a fact.
I believe that.
Everyone's saying this thing about the last 6 months. He ain't made a mistake. I'll name 3 straight off the bat this season.
He hasn't made as many. He hasn't been as bad.
How many games we into the season, chaps? We're what, 10, 11 games into the season?
11 games.
United, the Palace disallowed goal for no reason. If that is allowed, he's got away with it. This is what I'm saying. That rule change or whatever they made where Eze strikes the ball, it goes in. Even Mark, the Chelsea fan, goes, that should have been a goal. First game of the season against Palace, right? Sanchez isn't. It goes past him, right? Dude, of course he should have saved it. West Ham, shocking under Graham Potter. But they went 1-0 up against you because Sanchez was poor. Paqueta, a thunderbolt from 35, 40 yards, if you boys remember. And I tell you what, Sanchez should have save that. I reckon the top 5 key. I reckon Henderson at Palace saves that. Emi Martinez, he saves that.
That's what I was going to say. Other clubs, if other clubs have got the chance to sign Sanchez, how many say yes? Everton definitely don't. They would definitely stick him.
Pickford.
So I think that's another way of looking at it. It's almost like if you're a club, would Sanchez get in their team? Would they go and say he's an upgrade? And if he's not, then if you're looking at Palace and you're looking at Everton and you've got your player in your position at Chelsea is not good enough to go into their team almost automatically, you're struggling, right? But it's all about levels, and that's the thing about Spurs as well, is that as a fan base, everyone's saying, oh, this is a problem, that's a problem. But I'm saying with Spurs is that it depends on what level you're going to. If you're saying we're a top 8 team, then players are okay in that. Whereas if you're saying you want to challenge for the top 6, challenge for the Champions League, then they're not top 4 players. That's just the way things work.
So why is are we ruling out Spurs from this top 5 thing?
I'm not.
I always said it was going to be a struggle. I came on here last time and said it was going to be a struggle, and everyone said I was wrong because of Frank. But I said that left winger and that striker is going to be a big problem for us, and that's exactly what's happened all season.
Your issue is just at home, though. You manage to sort that out at home. I reckon you'll be able to get some consistency under your belt.
That's a big issue, though. You're brushing that. That's a big issue.
It's a massive issue.
Big problem to solve. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's as simple as we're at. Yeah, you got your home form. Just sort that out. But why are you struggling at home? You're struggling to break down teams. You need that guy that's going to put the ball in the back of the net. I don't. I mean, look, you can speak to it a lot better than I can. Being a Spurs fan, you probably see him week in, week out. But from what I've seen so far, I can't remember the last time we won a game at home. Actually, so it's been a while.
First game of the season.
First game of the season. Wow. And then what? You've gone on a run of 4, not
we've
4
won,
or 5.
We've won three this year. Won 3 home games this year. It's the worst in any club that's played in both seasons. It's the worst in terms of points picked up. It's not. This isn't just a Frank issue. This has been poor. It was poor under Ange as well.
So that costs you what? Top 5, you reckon?
I think it will cost us top 5, yeah. But I think also the injuries as well. I think that's a big problem. But the left wing, having no star left winger and no striker that's fit and able to score goals is going to be a problem because any team needs goals, and I don't see us getting them. I don't see us scoring.
Mate? You got Richarlison, pal. You're all right now.
He'll go on a run. He'll get 3 or 4. He'll get 3 or 4 in 4, and then he'll go back to doing what he does.
I like Brendan Johnson. Brendan Johnson's okay. You're missing James Maddison. I think he'll make a big difference.
I don't think he's going to be back.
Yeah, he's done for the season.
You know what the problem with Spurs is? I actually think the Harden manager that will never ever be, in my opinion, will be good enough to win the Premier League. I believe in the modern era, there are certain types of managers that I sit there and say, yep, this manager's playing style and philosophy might be able to take this team to win the Premier League.
That's not.
For example, I don't think that Oliver Glasner, the way he plays football with Crystal Palace, is a style of football that will, even if he takes over Man City or Liverpool or Arsenal or whatever, is a style of play that will win you. Because over the last 10, 15 years, even during the Mourinho time at Chelsea in 04-05, the team that wins the league have to be dominant against at least 70% or 80% of the team you play. You have to have the upper hand. Thomas Frank, sometimes even at home, against teams that he's on paper supposed to be better than them, he is not taking the game to the opposition. He's been a reactive manager, and it's very good. You can get top 5 with this. You can actually get consistent Champions League. Because I remember back Everton Cup. Everton used to play sometimes good football, sometimes bad football, and used to be the 4th best team in the league, or the 5th, or the 6th, or something like this. You can be consistent, but you will never ever be up there challenging for league titles.
But
with
he's not
that
the
style.
final piece. He's not like this is what I was saying about there being levels, right? We're not in a position to go and sign a manager that's going to finally get us over the line. We're far off that. So is Frank the guy that gets us to the level?
But with all due respect, your team is ready, is supposedly, forget the injuries, because the assignment of Thomas Frank happened before the injuries happened, right? You had no idea that Maddison will be out. The team that you have on paper, it's supposed to be a team that is challenging for the title if you hire the right manager. Let me tell you. I want to explain it to you. Romero and Van de Ven. See, you're sticking the name. Spurs finished 17th, yes. Romero and Van de Ven, arguably, very good centre-back pairing, if they are being utilized well. Udogie is an Italian international. Jed Spence is an England international. Pedro Porro is arguably the best or the second best Spanish right back here. He starts for the national team if Carvajal is not fit. You got Bentancur, a starter for Uruguay. You got Paulinho, who just started for Brazil, who supposedly every big team wanted him just a year ago.
All of the big teams have international players. You can't just say starter for Uruguay. Therefore, this starter for
no, Bournemouth don't. With all due respect, Bournemouth.
No one had.
So hold on. I'm answering you. Bournemouth don't. For example, Crystal Palace don't. Tariq Mitchell is not as big name or a player as Udogie or Jed Spence. With all due respect, Muniz is a good right back, but he's not Pedro Porro. The only guy at Crystal Palace that you would say at the level of Romero or Van de Ven is Gay.
Richards Crystal Palace are going to challenge for the league. No one's saying Crystal Palace are going to challenge for the league. Spurs are
at least 4 players short. And I'm just talking starting 11 here. The goalkeeper's not a first. We just said it. The goalkeeper's not good enough to win
Arsenal challenge with Ramsdale. That already got debunked. It's all about how you utilize your tool. Vicario is an Italian international.
Yeah, but if you've got 10 players, so if you was to go through every position in a league and rate play and put a player in from every position, and goalkeeper, etc., you're not going to have number one in every category. So you're always going to have one that's off. But if you've got 10 that are very good and can title challenge, you can pull an 11th over the line. But you can't be 4 players short in an 11. So our goalkeeper's not good enough. Our central midfield isn't good enough as a pairing. Bentancur and Palhinha are, as you just said, you need to go and dominate teams. Them two are going to dominate defensively, but not in an attacking sense. Our left winger's nowhere near good enough to win a league, and our striker's nowhere near good
but
enough.
You got Xavi Simons, who was supposed. So that is your recruitment. Xavi Simons might not be a left winger.
Supposedly, no one's saying Xavi Simons.
But hold on, but I don't think you get the point. Xavi Simons is a good player that came from the Bundesliga. His main role is not only a 10. He starts leaning to the left. You don't have to play a left winger. There are a lot of teams that actually start the left winger on, like for example, Man City. Shirky on paper on the team sheet is a right winger, but you'll never see him as a right winger. He's a very Palmer for Chelsea for the longest time. On paper, team sheet, he's a right winger, but his positioning is more central. He takes inside. There's all of this, My point about this
problem with Spurs is that Spurs individually, if you look at the player
and I think
profiles,
it's the manager.
Right, I think it's the makeup of the squad. So there's a lot of players that are in the squad where you go, he's good enough, he's a good player, right? As you just said, Xavi Simons can play off the left-hand side. He can't. And the reason why he can't is because our left back currently is Jed Spence. So that means we have no width. In the whole of the left-hand side, everything comes in field. So you've got no width there. So therefore, he can only be paired if he plays there with Udogie, who's not been fit. And this is the problem. When we solve one issue, it's then got who the players they play around, and that don't quite fit. So Palhinha and Bentancur individually are probably our best midfielders, but they can't play as a pairing, especially not against 50-60% of the league. And this is where the Spurs fans are getting where the criticism.
Udogie was talked about last season as one of the best left back of the season before.
He's not fit. He keeps getting injured. So him, Spence, and Porro less so because Porro. But Spence.
I'm going to tell you something. I actually don't think that I will see in my life Spurs win a league title.
After saying all that, you said
you never know. You never know.
I don't think so. No, but I think Spurs fan. If Spurs hired a more dominant manager, I think Spurs will be in a better place than now in terms of like the way they play.
I said this with Frank. I said I didn't want Frank for me as an experiment, and I didn't want an experiment. After winning the Europa League, we should have been targeting.
I think they wanted stability. That's the thing.
Yeah, they did.
Who did you want?
Spurs wanted.
I would have actually taken Glasner. That Glasner was the one choice that I would have taken. Because I think that he's able. I think
Mo, you're not convinced on Glasner. You're basically saying that's a sideways move, right? Frank to Glasner is a sideways move.
Glasner's won Europe. He's won a European competition. He's won the FA Cup at Palace. For me, there's no, and even in the Spurs.
So hold on, do you think Glasner coming to Spurs would play progressive football? So he would abandon the way Crystal Palace is the lowest position-based team in the league, right?
Yeah.
Statistically.
Yeah. Yeah, but
the lowest line in the league, lower than Everton, lower than everyone, right?
It's also about, are you able to develop? Because when Frank come in, the first interview, and
so why not Iraola,
under Nuno,
a more progressive manager then?
Same under Nuno. Soon as they come in, their first statement is, "We're going to play good attacking football." And I'm going, hang on a minute. Do you sign someone who's 5'9" but scores loads of goals and then use him as a target man? No, you don't. So why do you go and get Frank, who's a defensively sound coach, and then ask him to play attacking football? You've not asked. That's
so why not Iraola, more progressive manager
because
that plays in the front?
Iraola last year, before he got very similar injuries to Ange, but didn't play 2 games a week. So if he carries on playing with that high intensity football 2 games a week as well, for me it's going to be just as problematic.
All right.
That was my big. I liked Iraola. The football he plays is outstanding, and I'm not saying that he is like Ange or anything like that. But the football that they play, I've been saying it for ages. The amount of VAR stoppages, how longer games go on, how many games there are, the higher intensity in the running, there is going to be more injuries. And if you're playing a real high intensity game, I feel like you're just bringing it on to get more and more injuries constantly.
There's no guarantees with any of these up and coming managers. They could end up being the next. Jurgen Klopp or whatever, up and coming, or they could fall flat on their face. That's just the nature of, just like with players, up and coming players. Some will make it and some won't, and you won't know until you try it.
My problem with Brentford, right? Well, the problem with Brentford, and you can also put it towards your Brightons as well, and clubs like that, is that as a club, they're run so well that every decision they make is normally pretty good. The players that they like, everyone was saying, "Oh yeah, but look, he loses players. He brings look how he." And I'm like, yeah, but that's because of the recruitment. That's not down to purely just Frank. You know what I mean? So,
the last question I want to ask you guys for real: do you guys think if you switch the team of Arsenal to play in Spurs shirts, so tomorrow we sleep, we wake up, the Spurs team are just full of the Arsenal squad, do you think the Spurs will be top of the league?
No.
Why not?
Because there's a mentality thing there. You talk about the home form. Okay. There's so many different reasons to the home form. One of them is the fact that everybody, when you with your stadium, you want it to be old, decrepit, horrible. People don't want to come there, and we've got one of the best. So people love coming there. It's brilliant to go there. The changing rooms are huge. The atmosphere at Spurs as well, because we've lost so many games, is soon as there's a negative, it drops. Like the atmosphere drops. So that's a whole shift. That doesn't just happen overnight. That won't just happen. And you go and sign a couple of players, and all of a sudden it all changes for me. That's a mentality thing that we need to get over. Even now, where Spurs fans are so apparent in downgrading everything positive they do. It's like the whole Europa run. I come on here and I listen to all streams from other fans, and no one they say, "Oh, like Spurs done well, they won it." But all Spurs fans say is, "Yeah, but the run was terrible. We played terrible teams." And I'm like, why? We have to downplay everything we do that's a good thing. It's always got to be, "Oh, but Spurs were just lucky," or "Spurs were crap." Whereas the other fans are just like, "No, they've done all right. They've done well. They beat the teams they should. That's it. No one else cares." But Spurs fans were so intent on whatever our achievements are, just diminishing them. And I think that's the same thing in the stadium. We look at, as soon as there's a negative thing that goes against us, I think it was the Bergvall injury. As soon as that happens, the atmosphere goes a bit flat, and all of a sudden we're like, "Oh, we're going to lose again," or "It's going to be a problematic." That's a mentality thing, but not only in the players, but in the fans as well.
You guys know that Spurs made me believe in like ghosts and Spursy and all these stuff. I said that last season.
Superstitions.
I'm being serious. I'm being completely honest. It was actually 2 seasons ago. Spurs made me believe that there's something really called Spursy. I used to ridicule these things, vicious stuff, and I'm like, bro.
Years when Leicester and Chelsea won the league over 2 seasons, we'd scored the most, conceded the least, got the most points, and
you didn't win the league. That's why I'm saying I don't think I will ever see Spurs win the Premier League in my life.
I've got Football Manager, so I see it. Don't worry about it.
You will. Yeah, probably you will.
Spurs have had some good teams, though, isn't it, mate?
I wanted to discuss something about Manchester United versus Chelsea before we go to Arsenal, Liverpool, and City and stuff. There is some Man United fans that believe that they're supposed to be in the top 3 currently.
Then why aren't they?
No.
They say circumstances. They say the injuries. They say Cisco was not fit in the beginning.
Chelsea are saying
that Man United should be top 3. Man United should be aiming at the top 5 at the moment. If we get in there, that'll be an achievement. You know, we have to build step by step. Top 3 at the moment is a little bit exaggerating. You know, we're nowhere near. I mean, against Tottenham, when 20-30 minutes of the game, we were completely rubbish. We were lucky. We were dominated. That's why Amorim had to make the changes, and they weren't good enough. And we're playing survival football at the moment. We're scoring last-minute goals, blinding goals in the last minute as well. You know, we're not really controlling games. And until I see Man United control games, then I'm going to start believing them more. I'm very happy, Mo. I'm not entitled. I'm very happy. Well, we're not losing games, right? And I'm happy about that. 5 games unbeaten. We might go 6, 7, 8 games unbeaten, and then I'll start believing, because I know we're going to play. We're going to play well against certain teams. It's the teams against Everton, Newcastle, and teams like that, which I'm going to be a little bit more judge worthy of them. But I'm happy at the moment. But Man United top 3. Not yet. There's a couple of teams there much better than Man United at the moment in regards to they're more settled teams than us.
Well, so your attack is better than Chelsea. Your defense is better than Chelsea.
Yeah. I mean, Chelsea, but
your midfield is the only thing that is not on par with Chelsea, to be honest.
I think the thing is that we've got a lot of players there that are not. We got a leadership group that are serial failures. They've been failing for 12 years, and it's just like Luke said. It's the mentality thing. Obviously, with Luke Shaw, Dalot, Maguire. They're good against certain teams. They can go away to Anfield and win at Liverpool, but they can also lose 3-1 against Brentford. That's Man United at the moment. And that's been Man United for the last few years. And until we we go on a consistent run of not only draws, wins away from home. We've only won one game away from home, you know. If we go on a few wins away from home, then I'm going to start believing in top 5, because I think we should be looking at top 5 at the moment and then build from there, you know, because if you, I mean, at the end of the day, it hurts me to say it because I come from a generation where we were winning titles, you know, but I have to be realistic. I think top 5 would be a good achievement for United this season.
And the reason why I'm saying Man United attack is better than Chelsea's attack is because basically Man United's attack, if I'm like looking at Mbeumo, Cunha, Sesko, Ahmad, I think currently is better than Chelsea, especially without Cole Palmer.
No, respectfully, that's a little bit crazy. Come on, geez. We've got Cole Palmer, who's in a FIFA World 11. Yeah, we've got Esteban Williams, 18. He's a star. The people saying he's a future Ballon d'Or winner. You've got Pedro Neto. Yeah, you've got Joao Pedro.
Hold on, Estevao, future Ballon d'Or winner.
Absolutely.
Potential.
You heard it here first.
But
definitely.
But to be fair, Cunha and Mbeumo, they've actually done it in the Premier League and had good seasons last season. Estevao maybe, but
Estevao comes from the Brazilian league. Is 18 years old and he's hit the ground running. But what could he do in 2-3 years' time?
But we're talking about right now, and right now, Estevao, his track record in the Premier League is limited. Right now, could he? We'll see at the end of the season where he is. There's a fair point to be made that Cunha and Mbeumo have done it in the Premier League.
And Mbeumo has been great for Manchester United so far. How do you think Cunha's done? What's your opinion of him so far?
I think he's done. Yeah, go on, bro. You're United fan.
Sorry, bro. I think he's done well. It's not all about stats and goals. I think it's the overall impact on the team. You know, the influence on the team. I think he's done well. Look, no, Estevao's a fantastic player. You know, he could well be the Ballon d'Or winner. We don't know, do we? You know, it's the future. Shea Lacey might come out of the youth team at Man United and win the Ballon d'Or. We don't know. You know, that's life. You know, the thing is that, you know, we got a great attack, but Chelsea's midfield is head and shoulders above ours, you know, and that's where games are won. That's my biggest issue. Is Chelsea got a world-class midfield. Enzo and Caicedo are much better than Bruno and Casemiro. You know what I mean? That is much better. And I think that is where games are going to be won and lost. And that's where I feel Chelsea are better than Man United at the moment.
Your front four at United is strong when you think about Mbeumo, Cunha, Bruno, and who are you playing up top? Sesko, I guess, right?
Sesko, yeah. If he's
and then you got Cole Palmer versus Cole Palmer, Neto. Well, Mark's interested. I'll let you kick it off, Mark, because you're Chelsea. But you like the idea of playing Neto, Estevao, Cole Palmer all in the first 11, right?
I would drop Enzo Fernandez, to be honest with you. And a lot of people, especially Chelsea fans, are going to be having a go at me. Why are you saying that? But for 105 million, right? His stats are okay. He scores a goal here and there. He provides an assist here and there. But for 105 million, I'm expecting him to have more impact in the game. If you're asking me, I'll play Cole Palmer as the 10. I would have Pedro Neto on the left, Estevao on the right, and Liam Delap or either Joao Pedro up top. And people are going to say to me, what about Enzo Fernandez? Well, that's why it's a squad game.
I think that's part of it as well, though, right? The squad game. I think there's so many of us sit here and go, well, this is the 11. But like, say, for instance, Spurs, on Saturday, we might be playing Burnley at home. And on Wednesday, we might be playing Real Madrid away. The midfield, the defence, the strikers that we're putting out, they're going to be different. And I think that's a key part of it. It's about having the right makeup in the squad. If you've got the right makeup, where you've got maybe a more defensive winger, you've got one that can provide pace, you've got one that can run in behind. It's not necessarily just he's the best striker, he plays, he's the best midfielder, he plays. It's about link up, it's about how they work with another and that sort of thing. Estevao, I think, is going to be top drawer, but you can't make a case for him at this moment in time, because I think Diallo is also, every time I watch Diallo, he's a threat. I don't care. Don't tell me about stats. Maybe his stats ain't great, but every time I watch Diallo, I go, he's a danger. And he's got Mbeumo on that side as well. So I think it's a tough one to make. Then it's where the goals are coming from, right?
You're right. Like, Estevao is a great talent, but if you're a football manager today in the Premier League, would you start Mbeumo or Estevao?
Estevao.
Really? I'll start Mbeumo. 20 goals.
If you guys are thinking now, Mbeumo or Estevao, would you start Estevao? Would you start Saka on the right wing or Estevao today, based on the body? By the way, on the body of work that happened, right? There is a body of work. It's not only about the talent going for, like, as you guys said, Rakpuri, yeah, maybe Estevao will win Ballon d'Or. No, nobody knows. You know what I mean? We don't know. Is the talent there? He is talented. I don't think he's as talented as you guys make him be. You guys talk about him like Lamine Yamal. He's as talented as a lot of players came. Like, there's a lot of players that came.
Lamine Yamal's an exception. He
exactly
is a special talent. I'm not comparing anyone to him at like 16 years old.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. Right. Like Lamine Yamal at 17 led his country. I think he was the best player in the Euros. You know what I mean? That it's different. But for me, if I'm looking at Estevao, he's good. And I think the talent is there. He's off your seat moment. Every time I'm watching Chelsea, Estevao gets the ball, I'm off my seat, right? But in the same time, I still think there's a long way to go. There is Mbeumo. There is, I think, Saka on the right side might be. I would argue that I would start Kudus still, right? The problem is
I'm a fan of Kudus. He's a great player.
The problem is he fucking plays for Spurs.
Chelsea.
That is the problem. That's no disrespect to Spurs, but the problem with the Spurs,
you can't be disrespectful and then say just no disrespect. That is disrespectful, right?
It is not.
That's the whole reason the phrase
I
was
don't
coined,
mean it. I don't mean it as disrespectful for Spurs, but the Spurs team are just so inconsistent. As Neil said, home and away. You cannot be 19th at home and first away. That is just the definition of inconsistency.
But
so that is the problem. You know what I mean? It's not a diss at Spurs. That's the reality. That's facts. You're 19th in the home form. So that's what. But my point is, Kudus, you probably would start Kudus on him. Kind of like, there are players, as Rak said, there's a body of work that we cannot just ignore because you came from Brazil, because you were a talented player in Brazil or Argentina. There's a lot of talent that came to Europe from Brazil and Argentina and just didn't make it. You know what I mean? They made it as, like, I remember Inter got Gabigol, the guy that won the Olympics with Neymar and Gabriel Jesus. We thought at Inter, we're getting the next fucking big thing. He completely, like, he started on fire within one season, completely gone.
Yeah, but that's mentality. That's like, are you able to settle? There's so many different factors. And
the talent was there. But sometimes the talent, bro, bro, Kai Havertz.
Talent alone is not
Kai
enough.
Havertz.
No, of course it isn't. It is for some players.
Florian Wirtz. Kai Havertz was the next German big thing in Germany. The next Muller, like the big thing. Chelsea fans are like, wow, this guy cannot even kick a ball at the club. like he used to do so dumb shit at Chelsea that people are like, how are you a good footballer? Like, how did you just do all of these things at Leverkusen? And then you come to Chelsea and you cannot, like, he couldn't pass up. But anyway, my point is, things can happen. That's why I would pick Man United attack. On the left, would you choose Cunha, Garnacho, or would you choose Cunha or Garnacho or Gittins? Definitely I would choose Cunha above them. You know what I mean? It's not even a question. Enzo Fernandez had a great season last season. And I think he was one of the best midfielders in the league last season. Numbers don't lie. And eye test. I know that Mark doesn't agree with me.
But you just said, Isa, that numbers and stats are not everything.
No, but on the eyes, Enzo Fernandez was great last season. Most of the season, he was great, especially in the second half of the season. It's not debatable.
He goes missing a lot, Fernandez.
Not from January, Neil. Not from January. He was amazing, especially the second half of the season when Chelsea needed him.
Amazing. Wow.
Amazing. Yes.
Wow.
Amazing.
A different thing, Giza. I don't know. I don't know, Giza.
Enzo Fernandez, last season, the third guy on the big chances created in the league. The guy that had over 20 goals and assist involvement from midfield. The guy that actually his pass percentage was above 90%. And he used to get more than 60 touches a game. Is that the guy that we're talking about? The guy that had the tackles and interceptions up there with the best in the second half of the season. Is that the guy we're talking about? Same guy or that a different guy? I don't know, Mark. Because you're being so harsh. Like, you can say that he hasn't been good this season, but last season, Enzo Fernandez has been, like, I'm watching the guy, like, this is £100 million player. Finally, Chelsea are getting there. Now, maybe not. Maybe that was a flash in the pan. I don't know if he's going to get back to that. But genuinely, Enzo Fernandez last season was on par with the best midfielders in the league. I'm going to tell you something that I've said multiple times on streams. Enzo Fernandez in the Premier League last season, only in the Premier League, has had a better season than Declan Rice, in my opinion. In the Premier League only. Declan
And
Rice
does everyone else here agree with Mo?
On that last bit, I don't think Declan had a good season last season.
Thank
So
you so much.
if we're going season for season, last season, I know Enzo churned out numbers. Mark, you and I have spoken about this. He churned out numbers as well. But I just felt, and maybe I'm thinking of it at the first half of the season, where he sometimes goes absent for long parts of the game, even in games where he has got assists and goals. And if he goes absent, he doesn't get a goal or assist. I feel like Enzo stands out a bit more as someone who's had a bad game. But I think Declan, on your last statement, Mo, I don't know about the rest of it. We'll have to break that down. But I do think Declan didn't have a great season last season.
I just said that, and I said that Declan Rice stepped up in one of the biggest moments in
That's what everyone remembers, right? But
exactly, right?
It's
but
2 games.
we are discussing Premier League performances because Enzo Fernandez had the Conference League to play in if he played, which he didn't most of the time. But in the Premier League, I thought Enzo Fernandez was good, was very good last season. I know.
So you're putting Enzo Fernandez, in the same category as Declan Rice. I get it; he didn't have the best season last season, but you're putting them in the same category. Are you serious,
bro? This is my job. I twist people's words. I twist people's words. You're not gonna twist my words. You're not gonna be able to do it. This is mine. I'm not saying that because Declan Rice has a bigger body of work while being a very consistent footballer for Arsenal. But in terms of last season, there's a massive part of it where Enzo Fernandez was one of the best midfielders in the league. I never said that, I would choose Enzo Fernandez above Declan Rice. I never said that. That didn't come out of my mouth.
But again, it's the requirements of what the player is. This is what I'm saying. I think we as fans, we look at it and go, he's the best midfielder. He's the best midfielder. But actually, if he's complemented by the other midfielder, you can see a huge difference in the play. Do you know what I mean? So when Enzo got a lot of criticism when Caicedo was poor, he weren't great. He was in and out of the team. Lavia was playing. They were swapping in and out. And then all of a sudden, Caicedo's just stepped up and all of a become a monster. And then Enzo's looked better next to him. Now, is it because they complement each other well in the way that they play? And what you said about Van der Ven and Romero, they complement each other so well as a pairing that it elevates both of them. When one of them's not there, the other one don't quite look as assured. It doesn't quite look on it, and it makes them a better player. So I think the pairings of players around the pitch, all around the pitch, makes players better or worse. And it's about whether they can bring out the positives and the negatives in each other's game. And I think that pairing in particular in Chelsea's midfield is dominant with them two in it. For me, they absolutely dominated Spurs when we played. I know that it was a poor game in quality, but you just won it in midfield by them two. They was just all over us.
Yeah, can I say that was incredible? Mo, I got a quick question before you move on, because I know you said Man United, Chelsea, right? That's what we're talking about. Right now, and you can take last season into account, are you by default then, or are you saying that you'd have Enzo Fernandez ahead of Bruno? Or would you have Bruno?
I would have Bruno Fernandes.
As a number 8 as well.
As a number 8, yes.
I don't think he's good in number 8.
Okay, so to be honest, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you guys. A Caicedo, Bruno Fernandes, Cole Palmer, in my opinion, okay, based on the evidence that we have seen over the years, because Enzo Fernandez is not new to the Premier League. He has been here for 2.5 seasons or more, if I'm not mistaken. I would think that is better than Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Palmer. I think Bruno, Caicedo, Palmer would be better. Bruno can connect the dots between Palmer and Caicedo. Caicedo can do all the hard work behind him. He can be the guy that leads the ball from the deeper and then get it to the Palmer and the Bruno Fernandes, especially if you got to play a team that is on the front foot. There are two different types of number 8s. A number 8 that can play for a team that is 65% ball position on the front foot, taking it to the opposition, be the dominant, and a team that is more defensive. Now, you cannot have Bruno Fernandes and Cole Palmer in a team that needs to be more defensive. But I think if you have a Kukurea at the back that doesn't go forward as often unless needed to be, and he can invert. And if you have a Malo Gusto or a Reece James that can invert and you only go forward in a team that is needed to be, I actually believe that. The reason why Chelsea are being like, imagine if Chelsea have a decent centre back pairing, Caicedo in front of them, Reece James, Kukurea, and you're going to have a midfield three of Caicedo, Bruno Fernandes, Palmer, I think that midfield would cook in the league. I think that was very solid. The reason why I said Enzo, because Enzo had a good second half of the season, a majority of 70% of the season last season. The season before he was poor. The half a season before he was poor as well. The second when he came to Chelsea, this season he has been poor. So we have more evidence than no evidence of Enzo Fernandez not being a £100 million player. You get the point. However, Bruno Fernandes, the majority of the time, I actually believe that Bruno Fernandes, and I'm quoting Sal, and I'm quoting Terry, and I'm quoting Staffy. Bruno Fernandes sometimes kept managers at Man United, kept their job by him carrying the team in some games. Bruno Fernandes. So I like Bruno Fernandes.
I think he's good. He's been a very good signing for Man United. He's been probably the best signing post Sir Alex Ferguson. I think he has. He's been brilliant for Man United. I just think he's been played in the wrong positions, and we're playing a midfield two at the moment with Bruno and Casemiro, and I don't think that's his position. I think he's a number 10. He's much better than number 10. If we played a midfield three, I think it'd be more effective.
You know why, Salah, I don't think he's a number 10? Because if you actually describe a number 10, it's Cole Palmer in this league. Half turn, without a lot of spaces. He needs to scan the pitch behind him plenty of times. His first touch to get out of the press is immense. That's Cole Palmer. That's why Bruno Fernandes is not that guy. If you give the ball to Bruno Fernandes with only half a yard around him, he won't be able to turn a defender like what Cole Palmer does. That is a true number 10. That's someone that, I think Odegaard does this for Arsenal sometimes. There is not a lot of spaces for him, but he would do the body shift. He would do that feint that would actually make the defender off his shoulder. And now he has that half a yard to turn or make a play. I don't think Bruno Fernandes likes to face the pitch. Most of Bruno Fernandes' good games is when he's facing the pitch. There's coverage behind him. He's receiving the ball looking. He would scan the pitch forward, and he would actually play a diagonal ball, play a ball behind. Cole Palmer is more of a tight space. I'm going to get out of that tight space. If you give me the ball, I'm going to get out of that tight space. That is a true number 10. Florian Wirtz used to be like this in the Bundesliga. Not anymore. Ozil used to be like this. These are the number 10s. That's why I don't think that Bruno Fernandes is an out 10.
The only problem I have, Mo, with Bruno Fernandes is that, I mean, if you look at his heat map, he's all over the pitch. He's a little bit ill-disciplined in his position. He's not there like in the position where he's supposed to be. And he does leave Casemiro isolated sometimes with 3 or 2 against 1. And that's the problem with him. He's a little bit ill-disciplined. That's why I would like him further up the pitch and have maybe 3 in the midfield. So we have 2 holding midfielders to bring Bruno a little bit further forward. Not necessarily playing Bruno as number 10, but playing him in the midfield 3, and let him go forward like that. But whilst he's in the midfield 2, I think he struggles. I think he's ill-disciplined in that position because he tries so hard.
But you need players around you. You cannot just assume that in the midfield. You need players around you. You know what I mean? I believe, for example, Arsenal can play with Zubamendi, Rice, and Eze against 70% of the teams in the league. That would work. Or Rice, Zubamendi, and Odegaard. You can have one DM as long as you are mostly in possession, you're mostly dominant. You don't need to have 2 guys to stop the opposition. You just don't. Most of the games, you don't.
And
that's
also,
what
Bruno gets around the pitch, right? So Bruno, it's not like Bruno doesn't, as you said, he covers distance. So he's not like a luxury player where you go, well, we've got to do all his defensive work. But I think Bruno definitely works in a midfield 3 better than a midfield 2. And as you said, he needs all the coverage behind you. And that's
you saw the Tottenham game, Luke, when he got the ball, when he just ran into trouble. And it created a counter-attack for Tottenham. And I think that created a passage of play where you scored the goal, I think, after that. He is prone to some errors like that. And I think the problem is when he's all over the pitch, I think he's trying too hard sometimes. He's got that captain's armband, and I think he tries too hard. I
think he's the worst captain in the Prem, to be honest with you. I think he's the worst captain I've ever seen.
I think so as well. I don't think he's a good captain. I think he's petulant. I think there's certain characters that are. I think De Ligt is a captain. I think Licha Martinez is a captain. I don't think Bruno Fernandes is a captain. He blames too much. He throws his arm around and that. And he doesn't inspire.
I know that Luke has to go. Appreciate you, Luke, for joining us. Thank you for giving us the time. Guys, spotlight on Spurs, Luke's channel in the description. So go and support Luke. I will see you, Luke, soon. Thank you.
See you soon. Cheers, guys.
Before we actually go,
mate.
because I want to ask you guys something, Mark and Neil and the rest of the panel as well, about the.
Are you asking me something?
No. I'm asking the rest of them. Thank you. See you, Lou. Guys, can we get the likes up, people, a little bit? YouTube is bugging, actually. StreamYard is not showing you that we're live, right?
No,
it's not.
It's not. It's actually, YouTube is bugging, people. So I need your help, people, in the chat. It's actually, the algorithms are not working well. So I need you guys to help us by hit the like button. We're only on 130 likes. Can we get to 300 likes live? And I want to just, first of all, TK is thanking Mo, who votes for team of the season then. That is about Declan Rice and Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo. By the way, I'm just going to tell you why Declan Rice got in team of the season, TK. Because of the moments that he had in the Champions League, that affected people's minds in the Prem. People took these moments and thought, yes, and rightfully so. These are massive moments, and he stepped up and he won man of the match in both, if I'm not mistaken. So he deserves that. So TK, it is not about who votes. It's like our opinion. And also, I don't care who votes. It's Mo's opinion, Sal's opinion, Neil's opinion, Mark's opinion, Luke, and Rack. I don't care who votes. That is my opinion, right? Like, if you're asking me who had a better season last season, I'd say maybe Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo. Declan Rice was good, right? But he wasn't head and shoulders above the rest, for example, right? John, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. So you guys, if you got a membership, you know who to thank. It's John James. Appreciate you, John. And all Man United fan supporting the channel as always. I want actually to ask you guys something about the Chelsea and Arsenal talk. In 2 weeks, 2 game weeks, Arsenal play Chelsea. Chelsea, if they win that game, they'll be 3 points behind Arsenal. Can Chelsea go and battle Arsenal for that title race and Man City?
Yes. Why not? The problem with Chelsea actually has.
You're just shitting on your goalkeeper. You're shitting on the midfielder. You're like saying only Estevao, and then you're telling me why not.
Hold on. No. You can't say that.
Cucurella.
Hold on. Cucurella is like top 3 left backs in the world. For me, Reece James is probably top 3 right back in the world. Caicedo, for me, is the best defensive destroyer in world football right now. Right? Estevao, yeah, I've just done him already. And that's just my opinion. Like you said, you have your opinion. I have my opinion. Garnacho is looking bright, right? Like the old man when he played for Manchester United. You remember that period when he was the only good player for Manchester United, and it looks like he's churning out those performances for Chelsea, right? João Pedro, okay, had a great Club World Cup. He goes a little bit missing when Estevao's not there, when Cole Palmer's not there. He can't run the game. He can't take the game by the scruff of the neck on his own, right? Against Arsenal, okay, with the thing is with Chelsea, when we play the lesser teams, no disrespect, and they set up a low block, Chelsea have an extremely difficult time to unlock that. They're missing a Cole Palmer for that. I said in our pod, I think it's Cole Palmer FC. Now, Neil will say, yeah, but you've been winning games without him. Okay, yeah, we have. But the games against smaller teams, we have a trouble. Now, against Arsenal, I'm not saying that we're going to beat them, but they are going to be a lot more open. And for Chelsea, that's going to give us a lot more chances. I'm not saying we're going to win the game because Arsenal are one of the best teams in the league. And I don't think Chelsea's there right now. If I'm putting my money on someone, I would probably put it on a draw or an Arsenal win. And I'm just being honest.
It's an interesting question, right? I mean, look, Mo, by the way, by the time we play each other, if Chelsea beat us, depending on what happens between Arsenal and Spurs, I mean, normally, you know, we'll beat Spurs. But
I'm expecting you to be on paper. Logically,
right?
You are supposed to beat Spurs.
Yeah, and I think we will. I think we'll bounce back. We'll have some players back from post-international break. If Chelsea, because we're at Stamford Bridge that game, if Chelsea managed to beat us in the league, I can't remember the last time that happened. I'm not trolling, but I just can't remember. It's been a while. But if you are to beat us in the league, 3 points behind, on paper, you'd say, why can't Chelsea challenge? Over 38 games, I cannot see a team that has Sanchez as a goalkeeper and holes in the not the midfield, the holes in defence. I can't see you sustaining a challenge for 38 games. Whereas I can see Arsenal and City lasting the distance. There's pedigree there, lasting the distance from Arsenal and City. Okay, Arsenal have never won it, but they've lasted the course. And I don't think this Chelsea side is ready yet to last the course. You're relying actually on Moses Caicedo, 3 players, Moses Caicedo, Cole Palmer, and maybe Enzo. You can put in Esteval.
Okay, great, Neil. So they are 6 points behind you. They still have to play you, and they haven't had Cole Palmer yet, one of the best 10s in the league. So that's why I titled this video, what will Chelsea do when Cole Palmer is back? If they are winning games now, what will they do when Cole Palmer is back then? When they have a Caicedo, Santos, or Enzo, or whatever, if ever Lavia is back in his life, and Cole Palmer, you know? What is going to happen then? And now they have a job.
It means Chelsea will have more chances of scoring a goal. But as Neil said, the goalkeeper, I know you like him, I don't. I think he's a liability. And you said it yourself, Mo. We're missing a quality centre-back. Right? That's the difference. Cole Palmer's going to open up the game more. He's going to create more chances. He's going to, you know, put more through balls.
But Mo's asking if you're whacking... Mo, have I got that right?
You literally said yes,
Cole Palmer
and you're finding... Hold on, Neil. He's literally, I asked him. He said yes, and now he's trying to pick the holes in his team. He's given us the reason why they won't. Well, his straight answer was, yes, we will challenge Arsenal. Why not?
Why? He said, why not? He said, why not? He said, why not?
I said, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, said,
what did you say about Mo? What did you say about twisting people's words? What did you say?
He literally said, he's like, he looked at me and was like, why not? And then he went to say why not himself.
Anything can happen, Mo.
Cole Palmer is going to be back, and that is going to be a problem for us. And Arsenal are going to go to Stamford Bridge with the ball, and we're going to be susceptible to the pace that Chelsea have on their flanks, and we're going to be susceptible to the goal that Cole Palmer has. I think this is going to be the toughest time to go to Stamford Bridge that Arsenal are facing over the last 4 or 5 seasons, 3-4 seasons maybe. I think this is going to be a real tough test, Mo. Don't be surprised if Chelsea do find the way to sucker punch us, catch us on the counter and win the game. That said, you're going to rely on Cole Palmer to put the ball in the net because João Pedro is back.
Cole Palmer is not going to be back for the Arsenal game.
If he's not back, we're going to win.
He's back in December, they said. He's not back, if I'm not mistaken. What I read.
That is true. They said 6 weeks about 4 weeks ago, and then a couple of weeks ago they said, yeah, it's going to be extended for another 6 weeks. So I'm not going to be surprised. If not
it is most likely he's not back.
But Mo, what do you think is going to happen?
I don't think you're going to challenge for the title.
We're not going to chat. Yeah, I agree with that as well. I agree with that. But I'm talking specifically about the game against Arsenal when they come to the bridge. What do you think is going to happen?
I would pick I think Arsenal will win at the bridge.
Why?
Many reasons. Because I don't rate Chelsea's attack at all. I don't rate it at all. I think Arsenal defense will be able to stop that. And I think Arsenal will find the holes in the Chelsea defense. Logically speaking. Am I 100% sure? Would I put am I as sure as Arsenal beating Spurs? No. But if you're asking me, gun to my head, I would say, if you're asking me, you have to pick a team to win the game, I wouldn't pick Chelsea. Most likely, maybe a draw, but I think Arsenal will win the game at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea haven't been good at Stamford Bridge. And because they are on the front foot, the problem with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge is being on the front foot, is actually leaving the defense open, is being more courageous going forward. That's why Chelsea are 12th at home, and I think away from home, they're 3rd or something like this. So at home, because they have the courage from being at home, is to push forward. Now Arsenal will find spaces behind them. You know what I mean? Like the likes of Saka, the likes of Trossard, Odegaard might be back. Eze. I don't know if Eucharist is back, depending on the striker situation as well for Arsenal, because I think they struggle if Moreno plays up top. Because of the physicality, speed, and Moreno likes to drop deep. He doesn't occupy the defenders, blah, blah, blah. I'm not ruling out Chelsea win. Things can happen. Chelsea have surprised me a lot in this season. with the way they play. Enzo Maresca is one of the, I'm going to say for the last year, he's been one of the good managers in preparing for big games because he knows how to read the big teams, the oppositions, right? He's not consistent, yes. But if you're asking me, I would pick Arsenal too because Arsenal are more consistent. You know most likely what you're going to get from Arsenal. You know how the game will go. You know how this player is going to give you a 7 out of 10. This player is going to give you an 8 out of 10. For Chelsea, Enzo Fernandez can be the best player on the pitch or he can be the worst player on the pitch. And then the next guy coming in is Andre Santos, who I think is a rash player, to be honest with you. I just think he's a rash player. We don't know what Maresca will do. He's not even set on a style of play, Maresca, in terms of like, is the right back Malo Gusto going to the line or is the right back Maurice James inverting and being next to the midfielder? Which one is it? You know what I mean? I don't know. And the players get confused. Also, the centre-back pairings. Who's starting? Nobody here can tell me who the centre-backs pairing that going to start. We actually don't know if Fofana is going to be fit or not. Nobody knows. You know, Fofana started the game, played 90 minutes, and then for 2 games he disappeared, and then he came back, played 90 minutes again. And I'm like, well, this is kind of strange a little bit.
But that's not down to him. That's down to the manager, Enzo Maresca. He's chopping and changing the defense pretty much every single game. There's no stability. He's not giving them the chance to, get chemistry and build that. But for me, I already know. I know who their best pairing is. The best pairing is Fofana and Chalobah at this moment in time. And I believe it's just down to Maresca to play them consistently. But he's not going to do that.
A lot of your fan base don't like even Chalobah.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. He's solid. He's not amazing.
We have a lot of Chelsea fans today in the chat. We got a lot of Chelsea fans in the chat. And all of them tell me Chalobah shit. Exactly. Look at this.
So who are you going to play then? Who are you going to play? You're going to play Tosin, who's been terrible?
He's like, bro, like I can go on and on. I got a lot of Chelsea subscribers and they're like, Chalobah, what are you talking about?
Mo, you made the good point about Chelsea struggling at home, right? When the onus is on them. Is there a chance, do you think, they set up like the away team, like the smaller team against Arsenal and play on the counter?
Chelsea.
At home.
Because
Maresca does tweak it for bigger games. Or is he going to come out front foot and Chelsea, because Chelsea have been struggling on the front foot, right?
I'm going to tell you, Chelsea at home, the pride of London. Never sit back, never defend, regardless of who comes in. I haven't seen Chelsea. I'm going to tell you what happens.
Have you forgot the whole Mourinho era?
No. But Mourinho? But that's like way back in the days.
Yeah, you said never. You literally used the word never.
And Mourinho time at Chelsea were not defensive as much.
Not at home.
Not at home.
They had their moments.
It's like it's sometimes, but Mourinho, we're old enough. That notion that people say that Mourinho is a defensive coach is when the guy got 100 points with Real Madrid and scored 100 points. Like we were the team on the front foot, apart from the Barcelona games and some other games as Inter. He's a guy that played on the front foot most of the time. Like he's not a guy that sit deep. Like he changed. But Chelsea at home, City came to Chelsea and Chelsea tried to dominate the game position-wise last season. They're like, bro, you're not coming here to dominate. We're passing the ball around. Even if we're losing, we're passing the ball around. Liverpool, under Klopp, you play Chelsea. Chelsea tried to go toe-to-toe with you. They never defended. So why would that change? Why am I assuming that changed? I wouldn't change. You're not going to tell me here that Caicedo, Enzo, João Pedro, Neto, they're going to sit deep and defend in their area, mid-block or low-block against Arsenal. That wouldn't happen. Chelsea are going to be toe-to-toe with Arsenal.
I agree. It would be less wise to go toe-to-toe, I think, with this Arsenal team. But you never know. I mean,
Chelsea fans think otherwise. Chelsea fans actually think that their midfield will dominate Arsenal's midfield at the Bridge.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. I do hear that all the time. And look, they have got Caicedo, and I rate Caicedo. But our midfield is better. Our midfield is dominant. I know you've got Caicedo. I know you've got Enzo in there. I think Lavia's made of glass, isn't he? But if he was fit, he could change the game a little bit because I rate that Romeo Lavia. I think he's
injured again.
Of course he is. He's made of glass, mate. That's why. But I do think on paper right now, the Arsenal midfield's stronger. I assume Chelsea fans are kicking off right now. Yeah?
Zubimendi or Caicedo, which one are you going to have?
Hold on.
Cole Palmer or Odegaard, who are you going to have?
Already,
I've just made my point.
Come on, Lisa. The problem is that we've all played football. Like, we can pick up individual areas of the pitch and say, okay, this goalkeeper's better, this defense is better, this midfielder. But ultimately, every unit, part of the team, informs every other part of the team. And Arsenal have a more solid structure overall as a team, and I think that's what. So they can afford to press higher because they know that the back line is pushing forward, and they know that the midfield is therefore more compact, which gives Chelsea more difficulty in playing out. So we can look at individual players and say, okay, we're a combined 11, this, that, and the other, or whatever you want to call it. But that's different than actual football.
But the question
Mark, as the unit, Arsenal midfield looks better than Chelsea as a unit.
Fair enough. That's your opinion.
No. They're more. That's not my. That's okay.
No,
that's my opinion.
It's your opinion as well, Mark.
Yeah.
You know that.
Further down the line.
Okay, hold on. As a unit, you wouldn't tell me that Arsenal look more structured in the midfield, more disciplined, more the positioning wise, they're more organized than Chelsea. No? Yes? Maybe you pick Caicedo might do a better job than Zubimendi. He might. He's stronger. He might defend better. He might stop the transition better. But as a unit, even with Eze, okay, so remove Odegaard and remove Cole Palmer, right? Both are injured. Eze or João Pedro. Your midfield is Enzo Fernandez, João Pedro, Caicedo. Is that better? Or Declan Rice, Zubimendi, and Eze? Which one is better?
Okay, when you say it like that, yes, the Arsenal midfield is better.
Okay, add Cole
when
Palmer
you say it like that,
and add Odegaard. Okay, structure-wise, as a team that has been playing together with the unit behind him, who's better for you?
Chelsea. What? Chelsea's midfield.
You think Chelsea's midfield is more?
You just said with Cole Palmer, and I'm saying yes. If you're going to say that, like our best first 11 midfield, yeah, I would say that.
Are you taking the coaching as part of it?
The coaching?
Oh, yes, because you can have all the individuals in the world, right? But if the coaching is not the same, the structure, the positioning, the angles, the distance between the players, and everything is different. You can have the best players, and then the coach would make them not stand in the right places, and they can look awful. Like Liverpool midfield look exactly the same exact individuals as last season, but because the coach is putting them in different positions, they look awful. They look way different. You would not think that these are the same players, right? Like the Liverpool players. If he's asking the players to play in the wrong places and the wrong angles and the wrong coverage, all of this is coaching tactics, right? Because I can say
Arteta gets more out of his parts. He gets more than the sum of the parts, right? And Maresca probably wouldn't get the same out of theirs. You can go man for man, say Caicedo is a better number 6 and Zubimendi at destroying
and Cole Palmer is a better 10 than Odegaard. You can say all of this is great. And I would agree with you, by the way. Caicedo is the best DM in the league and Cole Palmer is arguably the best 10 in the league. I actually would pick that individually 100%. But would I wanna take them under Enzo Maresca, or would I wanna take the Arsenal guys under Mikel Arteta? I would pick the guys under, because the coaching is part of it. Right.
When you say it like that, look, anyone that watches our pod, they know I am not actually a big fan of Enzo Maresca. Right. Last season he overachieved. Yeah, you won a couple of European Cups. You got into 4th. He overachieved. But this season, I have been saying all along, I don't think he is the right manager for Chelsea, whose aim is to win the league. And you just know it. For example, you look at the Manchester United game, right? Goalkeeper gets sent off. What does he do? Right? He takes off all of his attacking players and brings on all defenders. And at that time, none of the defenders could defend. If you had the winning mentality, a winning manager with the winning mentality, he would have gone, look, Manchester United are on the down at the moment, right? Even though we're 10 men behind, we can still win the game. For me, he doesn't have a winning mentality. And that game and a couple of other games actually clearly shows it. If you're going to talk about it as a whole, okay, with the manager, with the structure, with how long they've been together, of course I'm going to pick Arsenal's team.
So going back to the first question that I asked in front, would a Chelsea challenge for the title? And he said, why not? I think you answered that question yourself. Everything that you said, you answered that question.
Hold on. No.
You're
We're only a
literally
few
answered that
points.
question.
We're only a few points off the top. Chelsea at the moment are so inconsistent, but that doesn't mean that couldn't change.
Are you going to challenge, Mark?
It's too early in the season. I don't think that we're going to challenge. No.
See, there's two ways you can look at it, right? You can say there's 11 games gone, and there's only 6 points. They're only 6 points behind. But then if you extrapolate that out over 38 games, they end up being 20 points behind, right? So you can say it's a small gap, relatively speaking, but it's only a small number of games, relatively speaking, as well. Let's see what happens. I think there are question marks about Chelsea. They have got very talented players, and they have potential. They have a high level potential, not just potential Ballon d'Or winner, but they've got a number of other talented players as well. So if things fall right for them and they can pick up some form, look, I think what's his name getting injured at the start of the season with that ACL really.
Levi Colwell,
yeah.
That's big.
That was a body blow. That was a body blow because he had a really good season.
I think, so I want to ask something. So we're gonna go to Liverpool. When was the last time Chelsea beat Arsenal at home? I don't know when was the last time Chelsea beat Arsenal at Stamford Bridge.
8 years.
Wow.
No, it's been a while. I think probably
it's been a while.
4 or 5 years.
Wow. Thank you, Brian. And he's saying Chelsea's midfield hasn't dominated Arsenal in ages. All right. I think we'll see. I think Chelsea, if Arsenal beat Chelsea, I'm going to tell you that Declan Rice Caicedo conversation will be buried. Will be absolutely, it will
on
end.
One game. On one game, yeah.
I'm gonna. Do you want to tell me why in one game? Because over the leagues, Arsenal have finished ahead of Chelsea over the last 2 seasons, where Caicedo has been at Chelsea and Declan Rice has been at Arsenal, and you haven't beaten Arsenal. So in every single, and Declan Rice has played in the Champions League. Caicedo hasn't yet played in the Champions League. So in the metrics, so that one game actually, I think it's on Chelsea to beat Arsenal for Caicedo to actually say, yep, we played you now and I beat you. Right?
On one game.
But it's not based on one game because in all Declan Rice has been second in PFA of the season in the first year at Arsenal, if I'm not mistaken, which is 2 years ago. He has contributed more goals and assists from the 8th position or the 6th position, whatever. He has won more man of the matches playing the 6 in the first season when he played with Havertz and Odegaard as the 6 in the first 12 games of the season. I like Caicedo as a DM. I like him. I think Caicedo as a DM is better than Declan Rice. I think so. But is Declan Rice as an 8 better than, as a midfielder, better than Caicedo? That is, we'll see in this game if you dominate Arsenal or not. If Chelsea dominate Arsenal, that is.
I think Caicedo, it's a good point. Like, I think Caicedo is the better 6, but I don't think Declan's a million miles away. But as a complete midfielder, put him in the 8, put him slightly going box to box. I think Declan is a distance better than Caicedo. But I think Caicedo's a better 6.
I actually don't think so.
You don't think so? I think
no.
Well,
tell me
who's got more goals this season as a midfielder?
I actually disagree with you, Neil. I think actually, I am still in the thing that if you're asking me tomorrow, you got to get one player and then you have to start to build around that player. And if that player is either a Declan Rice or a Caicedo, and Declan Rice is going to play as an 8, and Caicedo is going to play as a 6, I'll pick Caicedo.
Caicedo, because he's the 6 and he's better than Declan as a 6, you're going to build around Caicedo. But during a game, and you got to go all 38. You can't just take one-off games, right? You're talking about, even last season, you go big games, Declan Rice versus Caicedo. Caicedo actually used to go missing last season before in the big games. So people talking about Caicedo, he's the best number 6. Absolutely fine. But against the big boys, always went missing. City, Arsenal, whoever else, Liverpool. he never did anything. Now, that might have changed at the start of this season. We'll see. But so, yes, you'd build more around the best 6 around than you would a good number 8 where there's more competition. I get that. But I think Declan as a complete all-round midfielder for what he brings, what he offers, not just from a box-to-box, but also a set piece, dead balls, is all part of the game, right? We're going to get corners, right? There's only 3 things guaranteed in life. That's what? Death, taxes, and Arsenal getting a corner in a game. And Declan's going to whip that on a sixpence every time. He's also better over a free kick, and he can match Caicedo for goals in and around outside the box and moving into the box. Caicedo is getting better with that. He's adding more goals to his game around the 6, because Caicedo is the best 6 probably in world football, right? Rodri's injured. You'd have to say Caicedo is. You wouldn't say Declan's the best number 8 in world football. Yeah, you wouldn't.
This is very refreshing, by the way. People
no, it's true. But I think he's a better. I think he's a more complete midfielder.
Because I said that and I was ridiculed. Actually, it's like so refreshing, like to hear someone says exactly, because I used the exact same verbatim what you just said about like 3 days ago. I said, yeah, there is Pedri as a number 8 is probably equal, different. There's Fabian Ruiz. There is like Vitinha can play an 8. There is João Neves can play as an 8. There's Barella at Inter in his in his top. He can play as an 8. He's very good. As a 6, I struggle to see a 6 that can dictate the game, can have the most touches in the team, and Caicedo can actually be elite in tackles and interceptions. And now he's adding goals to his. And actually, he's so underrated in actually picking the right passes. That's why.
Yeah, it's very true.
See, that's why I would struggle to find a 6.
So,
yeah, you can't. You're not going to
say is that if Caicedo was playing in that Arsenal team, in a structure of Arsenal,
he would be ahead of
better player in Arsenal
than Zubamendi.
Yeah,
I think
than Declan Rice. Would he be better than Declan Rice in that Arsenal team? If Caicedo was playing instead of Declan Rice, would he be a more effective? Would he be a better player than Declan Rice in that kind of structured environment?
I don't think he would cover the same amount of ground and ball carrying as Declan Rice does for Arsenal as an 8. Like Declan Rice does a lot of work, right? That actually help Arsenal. A lot of work. I don't think Caicedo can do that job. So I think Declan Rice. What was said yesterday or Saturday that if you swap them, I think Declan Rice might do the 6th job better than what Caicedo do as a Declan Rice role. That is true. That is not bad. I think that's the right take, right? Because Caicedo as a 6, Rice as a 6 is competent. He's not. He would do a good job. He's played very good.
He started as a defender, didn't he? He was a defender.
Caicedo as an 8, covering, taking the ball and carrying the ball to the opposition's 18, and when it gets cut off, he's the first one to sprint back and get it from his area. I might not see him do this. You know what I mean? Carrying the ball, whipping in the corners, and all this stuff that Declan Rice do, big switches. I don't see him do that. You know, Caicedo. But also Caicedo as a 6, I think I'll struggle to find someone in world football that would do the same job currently.
Yeah, there isn't one.
I
will say this, Mo, though. Rice gets in as an 8 in any team in the world for me. And I agree that Caicedo, 6, not much competition. But I would have to say Rice, even though there's better players on the ball. Mark, you like Pedri, yeah? Vitinha, there's so many number 8s you can mention, or guys that can play the number 8, right? That potentially you could say, they can do a bit more on the ball. All round, if you take 90 minutes of football into account of all the things that can happen across 90 minutes or 2 legs, 180 minutes, whatever, Declan Rice, pound for pound, offers more across 90 minutes because of the dead ball situations, because of different, on top of his work rate and the way he carries the ball and how much he carries the ball. I wouldn't say Declan is the best at any particular thing, but I think in terms of being a number 8 in ball carrying and being better on the ball than Pedri, for example, but he gets into any team in the world for me.
He isn't a better ball carrying than Pedri, by the way. But that's a myth. Pedri glides past players with the ball at his feet. Yep. Like the people that keep saying that Declan Rice is the ball carrying doesn't mean you're just carrying the ball. It's all about, do you dribble while you have the ball? Do you get out of that situation to be able to carry the ball? That's, I think, what Pedri does. That's why I think Pedri is the best midfielder currently in the world. That's what I think. And I want to move on from the Declan Rice.
Go for it.
Why have this midfield debate about Chelsea and how they will dominate Arsenal for 3 years, yet you haven't won a single game? They keep saying better players, but what's the point? Well, I don't know. For us, I don't know. They need a centre-back pairing to actually challenge for the league. That's what they keep saying. If
100%.
Once they have a centre-back pairing for us, they will have the chest. TK, did Kai Cenat participate in the 5-0 game? Did he play in that 5-0 game? He might. Actually, I think so. I actually think that.
His first season there, no?
Yeah. I think he did. If I'm not mistaken. I'm checking. Yes, I think he did. That 5-0 game, that was at the Emirates. Actually, yeah, it was Caicedo and Enzo, actually. Caicedo and Enzo. For Liverpool, are we like ruling out Liverpool completely? With Chelsea finishing ahead of Liverpool now? Is that
what you mean? Top 5 or the league
title?
Yeah, look. Up until a few weeks ago, I was still confident, but I don't think we're going to win the league this season now. I think I expected things to go better. I expected us to have gelled more by now, and ultimately, it's the same energy that I had for Arsenal last season when we opened up I think it was 8 or 10 point lead, and I at that point I said Liverpool will drop points. We're not going to go the rest of the season. The best part of 2/3 of the season winning every game. We will drop points. But I don't. At that point, I said that I don't see, with Arsenal having performed as the way they did at the start of last season, I didn't see them going unbeaten either. I thought they would drop at least as many points. And this season, it's flipped around. I think you can't really trust us in any particular game, whether it be an easy game or one against a top team, to be guaranteed a win. Because we've dropped points in some silly games this season, and we're just not playing well enough. Do I think we have an exceptionally talented team with some players who would potentially walk into any other team in the Premier League? Absolutely, but that alone is not enough. And whereas I thought that we were in a good place to win the league, I was wrong. We're not going to win the league, and it's going to be between Man City and Arsenal.
Are the people that are Slot out correct?
I'm not Slot out. No, I think he's earned enough credit through his performances last season to get this season and to get the summer. Look, ultimately, when I've been saying for a number of years about the Liverpool rebuild, we've rebuilt in a number of important areas over the last few years. We replaced Bobby, we replaced Mane, and the midfield has been refreshed completely. But the biggest players of the Klopp Slot era are Alisson, Van Dijk, Trent, and Mo Salah. And those players, I mean, Trent obviously isn't there anymore, but those 3 players specifically have yet to be replaced, and they are the 3 most important players. So the rebuild won't be complete until they're either gone or they're replaced somehow, or the structure is adapted to take into, like, for example, Mo Salah. Maybe Mo Salah stays on in a bit part role, but we change the formation where we don't use inside forward like Salah, and we change the team to maybe place you up front, or whatever however you want to juggle the team around. We spent a lot of money in the summer, and I said if we don't win the league, it will be a failure, and it will be a failure. If we turn around and win the Champions League, for example, does that make it not failure? Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, it does.
Yeah, I'll take
absolutely
Champions League.
It does.
I'll bite your hand off. And as I'm pretty sure.
Well, is there a threshold
at the
end of the season that Slot should be sacked? But anyone can get involved.
Threshold. I mean, look, if we don't finish in the Champions League, positions or something like that.
That's the threshold for you?
I don't really know about threshold.
You
I have
really? We sat for years asking Arsenal fans, what is the threshold for second Arteta? We cannot ask Liverpool fans this.
Well, but there's a difference, right? Because we won the league. We're the reigning champions, right?
But he did he might have done it in Hague. He might have done it in Hague.
Who? I don't understand. What do you mean?
Ten Hag took Man United from 6th to 3rd. He took you from 3rd to 1st because he just had Salah.
But first is first. First is winning the league.
It's fine.
You know, like, okay.
There is a lot of coaches that won the league and then they got sacked after. Ranieri got sacked with Leicester.
I know.
Ranieri got bro. Di Matteo and the busy with Chelsea. Then bang, you're out. Get out of here.
Not in the Champions League.
I understand, but as I said, there is still a substantial part or the most significant part of the rebuild yet to do. We need to find a replacement ultimately, whether it be in the next year or the next 2 years for Van Dijk and Mo. I actually think Mo may leave at the end of this season, get some money from selling to Saudi and reinvest. That would be the smart thing to do.
100, get rid of him.
I think there's always going to be money on the table from Saudi, and I said that actually when he signed the deal. I said that at the start during the summer. That wouldn't surprise me if it happens. Well, we'll see. I don't know that for certain, but it wouldn't surprise me if that happens. And if he goes, then he goes as a legend. So no issues with that. But we're not clicking, and there's no point in sugarcoating it. We're not going to win the league now. And but we need to be building towards the Champions League and building towards next season.
You know what I told Sam today on the Football Terrace on Straight Facts? I told him it might be too much risk to actually leave Slot in the job next season.
Look, the thing is, we're making this judgment based on a final position, but we don't know how that final position is arrived at. We need to see how
we're making it based on performances.
So but for example, we don't do as well. We continue to be inconsistent for the next 10 to 15 games, but we finish the season really strongly. We win the last 10 games or something, or we have a strong run. We get to we get far in the Champions League along with that. Then there's something to build upon. If it looks really bad and we get 5th and we get knocked out of the Champions League and results are just as inconsistent, at the end of the season they've been at the start of the season, then there's much more of a question mark about it. But I still think that Liverpool is not generally a club that sacks managers willy-nilly, especially not successful managers. And I think whilst some fans are, I don't want to say reactionary, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Whether you're slot out, slot in, I'm not here to change your opinion. I'm just here to give you what I think is a rational take. I don't think you go from being getting the plaudits that he received last season to being rubbish. And sometimes you have a down season, and sometimes players fall off a cliff. Sometimes shit happens. And
can I ask you a question?
I'm willing to give him a bit more time. Yeah, go on.
You said something. You said you've got players at Liverpool that can individually walk into any team in the league. Who are we talking about here? Because I actually don't think you've got one.
Van Dijk walks into any team in the Premier League. Van Dijk is still, by some distance, the best defender, not just in the league, in the world. He walks into every single team.
I don't think. I'll be honest. I'll probably get some flack here, Mo, from the viewers in the chat. But I don't think Van Dijk.
Alisson is still the best goalkeeper in the Premier League. And
Alisson may be.
And
I don't think Van
Dijk
Dijk walks into Arsenal. Who are you dropping in the Arsenal team?
Either of them. None of them are good as Van Dijk.
No, I dispute that, man. I'll be honest.
It's not even close.
Van Dijk.
It's not even close.
And Van Dijk spends a lot of time.
Today, you would drop Gabriel or Saliba for Van Dijk today?
No, I wouldn't.
No, you're wreck.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt.
I think Gabriel's been the best defender.
Would you drop, for example?
I agree. This season, Gabriel has been the best defender. but Van Dijk is a better defender.
Over a longer period, Van Dijk's been a world-class defender. One of the best.
Fantastic. John Terry is better than Saliba, but we're not going to bring John Terry to start today for Arsenal. Rak, you know my opinion. Van Dijk is the best defender I have seen in the Premier League to ever play, right? That's just my opinion, right? But I think after what happened this season with him, I think the way he defends now, the way he's not leading the team, I wouldn't. Based on form, there's a form that gets involved here with the teams.
Not at this stage. I need to see a full season plus.
Spade to spade. I feel like it's not even
a couple of 10 games ago, when Van Dijk marshaled us to a victory over Arsenal, everybody was eulogizing about him, saying why he's been so good. First 5 games of the season, okay, we conceded goals in some of them, but we didn't concede against Arsenal, and everybody was eulogizing about him. Van Dijk, when Van Dijk is best, is better than any of them, and it's not even close.
Yeah, but John Terry's best is better than all of them. It's fine.
No, but he's not even. John Terry's not playing football now. Then we can talk about.
We can talk about Van Dijk's past, I guess, but like if we're talking right now, I don't think Van Dijk gets on team. By the way, I get it, and I know it's very unpopular, but there's a lot of love for Van Dijk. I said this to Mark the other day as well. Van Dijk has got arguably the best goalkeeper in Premier League history behind him in Alisson, correct? He's been part of the best defense in the league once in 10 years. I think sometimes it's okay to question if Van Dijk is as great as we say. I mean, might be for a question for a different day, but you can't be the best centre-back of all time by a mile, no questions asked, and have the best goalkeeper in Premier League history and be only part of the best defence once in 10 years. That's weak.
But you can't... As we discussed before, and as we all agreed on before, each part of a team informs the other parts of a team. If you're looking at, for example, and I'll give us an example,
you had Chelsea
team which was much more solid defensively, right? But wasn't as Pep and Klopp in the Pep and Klopp era have been two of the most attacking, dynamic, front-footed teams. Inevitably, when you have that type of structure and setup and that's the ethos upon which you're built upon, then something's got to give. In an 11-a-side game, you're not going to have the best defense, best attack, season after season, game after, whatever. So, yes, if we would have sat back, could Van Dijk have potentially been part of a better defense? Maybe so. If you look at every single defender he plays with, he makes them look much better. As soon as they're playing without him, they look terrible, right? Lovren, exceptionally ordinary. He played for a couple of seasons when Van Dijk, he actually looked competent. Konate, when he's not playing with Van Dijk, looks shaky as hell. Joe Gomez, when he's not playing with Van Dijk, looks shaky as hell. How many of these great central defenders, and again, maybe this is a talk for another time, how many of these great defenders, I can only think of John Terry, who had multiple partners and who is exceptional with them. Rio, outside of Rio and Vidic, who else did he have a long-lasting partnership with?
But bro, are you taking consideration like the quality of attackers now compared to like in the 2000s?
No, but you know why I am? Because football now is completely different to football in the 2000s. The demands physically, technically, tactically, all that.
The quality of strikers right now, it doesn't.
I know, but you have so much less time on the ball now because of the physical demands of the game, right? People, if you go and watch a game from the early 2000s and watch a game now, it's a completely. I watched Gabriel Batistuta, I watched Marcelo Salas, I watched these guys. I was there. I was growing up watching these guys play in their pomp.
You guys spoke the bear. You guys don't know. Like,
and
it's coming.
Football now is a completely different game than that. Just go and watch any of these games back then. They're played. I don't want to disrespect and call it a snail's pace, but it is much slower than compared to now. You don't have time on the ball now. You don't have You didn't have as many.
I don't know, dude. Is that true?
Prime AC Milan with Arrigo Sacchi.
Do you remember that United side from 2008? By the way, I'm not going to blow smoke up.
That's the best United. That's the
best team that's ever played in the Premier League for me. That United
I think they're better than.
Which team? Which team?
I think the 2008 United.
2008 United team.
Yeah, Tevez, Ronaldo.
Now that was quick, and even go back to the Invincibles. That was quick. It was counter-attack, quick football. I think you're right though, dude. Like it is different now. We might have had strikers back then. I disagree with the point about pace, but what I will agree with you is that you're playing, you're pressing now. You're playing with higher lines, and you're more exposed now. Van Dijk's more exposed now, and he's also got multiple threats across now as well. So I do get your point. I think it's a fair rebuttal what you said about it. It probably is tougher to defend now in some ways. But I think we have seen some pace.
I love. But the thing is, when I say pace, what I mean is there's just not as much time on the ball then, because now players are so much more athletic, right? You don't get as soon as you get the ball, you have someone on you, so you don't have the opportunity necessarily to use the technical attributes you have. Your technique has to come in a different form. You have to have a spot on first touch, and you need to be able to potentially turn with that first touch before someone's on you straight away. So I love those times, like players like Ronaldinho, like the Fantasistas, incredible in terms of entertainment. But it's just, you're not seeing those players now because it's very difficult for them to exist. If you're not a physically dominant player now, you're not going to be able to play. Look at Arsenal. Arsenal are physical monsters. Look at Sunderland, who've come up now. When they recruited this summer, what do they go for? What was their primary thing? Physicality. Let's be physically dominant, and then we'll see what happens. And that's why I think football is just different.
I think David Silva might disagree, but yeah, I get your point.
There's always exceptions. There's exceptions everywhere. Look, Cole Palmer, you could argue, is not like a exceptional physical specimen. There's always. I want
to tell you something, Raktar. I think, apart from Van Dijk, I think the league title last season have made us a little bit overrate some of the players at Liverpool, and maybe. Salah, of course, Salah.
Maybe.
Like, I think, for example, the way you guys spoke about McAllister last season, you guys put him in a pedestal that is probably higher than what he actually is.
Maybe.
Like, because he was good, but he wasn't amazing. He wasn't the difference maker. Konate, for example, was fantastic last season, world-class season. But before that, Konate was so injury-prone. He had mistakes in him. He was a very reactive defender. He's a good defender. Now, this season, he went back to the old Konate.
Well,
you know what I'm talking about. The difference about a reactive defender. But the difference between Konate and Gabriel, for example, by the way, both of them had mistakes in them. But Gabriel have improved season on. He's improving. Konate had a good season last season. You won the league, and then this season, every time I'm watching him, he's really making mistakes. I know you have to go. I have to go as well. Gravenberch, amazing football player. The ball carrying is great. I think he's completely misused. He needs a Caicedo behind him. Gravenberch needs a DM.
I actually think we need someone who can put their foot on the ball and control the tempo.
Zubamendi or a Caicedo, someone like this. You need a Zubamendi to dictate the tempo of the game, to actually control where the ball is going next. Are we driving? Are we slowing the ball down?
The irony is that's the type of, because we identified Zubamendi last summer, right? And then we had an opportunity, not necessarily to buy him, but to try and find somebody else this summer to take up that mantle. And we didn't. Now, don't get me wrong.
The problem is Liverpool fans.
Gravenberch was good at the start of last season, but probably from February onwards last season, he wasn't that great. But by that time, we'd already more or less packed up the league. Yeah, this season, but what I'm saying is that form has kind of continued since then.
By the way, I just go before. How you're banned and you're commenting on the stream? It doesn't make any sense. I didn't ban you, my friend, at all. You're not banned. You're here. You're commenting. Your comment is on the screen. You're not banned unless one of the mods banned you or something. I don't know, to be honest with you. McAllister, people thought that McAllister would dictate the tempo and do the job of a Zubamendi or something. He's not. He's not doing this. He doesn't. Just a couple of things to do. Virgil van Dijk will not walk into Arsenal. Absolutely crazy take. He won't. I don't think he will. Not now.
Not in 5 years.
Virgil van Dijk is poor this year and blaming his teammates. Yeah, he has been poor this season. He hasn't been good. A team that conceded 17 goals with the leadership of Van Dijk versus a team that conceded 5 goals. Like, come on. I like Van Dijk. He's my favorite defender, but come on.
The thing is, Mo, if you look at the way that our midfield has been run through, ultimately, if you're cutting through, like a knife through butter, the way that our midfield has been ran through this season, is going to put more. This is why everything informs everything else. It's going to put your defense in more difficult situations, right? Because naturally you're going to be exposed more. When you're exposed more, you're going to concede more goals. Do I think? I don't think our fault having people. I mean, Trent was castigated a lot. Losing him and changing our left back at the same time hasn't helped the situation. Actually, ironically, Robertson coming back in for a few games seemed like it helped a little bit until it didn't. And Konate has been off it. Alisson. I'm not saying Van Dijk has been faultless, but ultimately, Van Dijk is the least of the less most problem.
No, I actually disagree. I disagree with one thing. I think Van Dijk and Salah are the most worried about Liverpool because your drop is from your standard. Because your team depends on that standard. They built. Okay, let me give you an example. Your team built the defense based on Van Dijk being, for example, a 9 out of 10 defender. The fact that he dropped to a 7 is worse, right, than Konate dropping from a 7 to a 6 or a 6 to a 5. That is worse. Because Van Dijk is the leader.
What you're saying, Mo, is you're saying that not just one player, you're saying 4 players, your goalkeeper, who's the best goalkeeper in the Premier League, and 3 other players in your defensive line, and the 2 players or 3 players in front of him have all dropped a level. Football is not an individual game like that, especially not defense. Defensively, defense is all about structure.
Okay, the problem is Van Dijk dropped 2 levels, not 1. They might have dropped a level or 2. He dropped 2 in the last 5 games. Maybe. Anyway, before we go on, I wanna thank everyone that joined us, guys. Straight for post. Sal is on the way to 20,000 subscribers, so go and support Sal. And the boys here are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, people. Click on the link and go support the guys. Subscribe to their channel. They're doing great work. They were fantastic today. Absolutely brilliant. Different opinions. Absolutely great, guys, working with you. That was an honor and a pleasure to have you guys with us here. So go and support the guys, people. If you're an Arsenal or a Chelsea fan, doesn't matter. They provide really good content about all the teams as well. So go and support them. Both their channels, this one channel, it's theirs. So go and support them. Hit that like, guys, before you go. Thank you, Rak, for being here. Luke, spotlight on Spurs as well. Appreciate you, Rak, for being here. I'm not sure if I'm doing content tomorrow, guys. It's international break is fucking dead. I hit that like button, guys, before you go. And subscribe to the channel. Also, check out OK Jersey. I'm actually doing a giveaway soon for 3 shirts free of charge from okjersey.com. So just keep an eye on this. Go check out. So now go check out the shirts that you want. Before I do the giveaways, you might decide to, yeah, I want that one. So go and check them out. There's a lot of vintage ones as well. And I will see you guys on Ahwa with Hamza and the rest of the boys on Osama's channel after this. Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate all the people that are here. And we'll see you guys soon. We're out of here, people.
Yep.
Oh, it's funny. Now it says live in the top corner. What's going on? StreamYard.
Have a look.
We're now live.